This episode is sponsored by the Spring Forward Writers Retreat. If you're someone who has a book as your luxury item and you've been sitting on it for a while, I've got just the answer for you. If you need somebody to hold your hand or help you do it as a work session in person, the Spring Forward Writers Retreat is happening March 14th to 16th of 2025. It's happening in beautiful Kissimmee, Florida. So if you're interested in that, if that's something you want to do, you want to knock out your book at the beginning of 2025, let's go. Because when you come, you're coming with your book as is. Whether that's with the outline, maybe just a few ideas that you put on paper, maybe you're coming starting from scratch. By the end of the weekend, you will leave with a rough draft. You will leave with a manuscript completed. So that is the tangible item you're coming away with, okay? So if you're interested, go to tinyurl.com/spring forward retreat. Good evening. Happy Wednesday, my winners and goal-getters. Welcome to another edition of the Getting the Win Show. I am your host, Mellissa T, the Procrastination Bully. And as a reminder, our mission with this show is to transform you from procrastinator into a producer. And of course, this is coming from a recovering procrastinator, okay? So I know the pain points. I understand the frustration that you're dealing with. And I'm sharing the experiences and the things that worked for me with you so that you can break through and become a producer and fully achieve, acquire, accomplish your luxury item, whatever that thing is. Whether it's a creative project, something professional in your business, something corporate, something professional for your 9 to 5, whatever that luxury item is, I am here to help you break through procrastination to get that luxury item done, completed, acquired, made yours. All right. So in today's episode, we are going over one of the key things that contribute to procrastination, and that's second guessing yourself. We about to dig deep into this because this is something that I previously struggled with, particularly in my more creative endeavors. If you've been rocking with me, you already know this has been a journey from season 1 until now, and we are finally winding down season 3 as you watch this. So today we're going to dig into how to overcome second guessing yourself, because that can be a cause for pause, right? If you've been involved in a creative project, if you're writing a screenplay, a script, a book, if you're someone that is involved with, marketing for a creative project that you're working on, if you're someone who's a graphic designer, if you're somebody who is doing something for yourself, if you're doing something where you're working on your business and you're second guessing whether or not that decision is the thing you should be doing, whether or not this person is the person you should be partnering with, whether or not this is the tool you need to buy to move forward, to get your project done faster or more efficiently, whether or not your boss is right or your gut is correct. If you're in a 9 to 5 context, whether or not your group is correct or what you have in mind is the better idea. There's that moment of indecisiveness that you may be struggling with instead of going forward because you're second guessing yourself. So let's talk about that. Let's dig into that. So the first thing I want to remind you of, I'm taking you all the way back to episode 1, is that you are a luxury item. You were created by God and He made the ultimate investment in you. Okay? He sent His Son to die for you. There is no greater investment than that. So you are a luxury item. You are intelligent enough to make this decision. Whatever this thing is that you're second guessing yourself about, you are worthy of this decision. You are intelligent enough to go forward with the decision. And if you do find yourself needing more information, this is going into number 2. If you find yourself needing to get more information, by all means, get that extra information. But as I mentioned in a previous episode, put a time limit on your information acquisition. Whatever that gap is that you feel you need to fill before making the decision to move forward, give yourself a time frame to get the sufficient amount of information. Because if you're someone who's an air traffic control and you're highly detail oriented, you already know your nature, right? You will research a thing to death and still not make the decision. Am I right about it? I've been there. Trust me, I know. I know the feeling. You'll deliberate over a thing over and over again. But what about this? But what about this? But what about this? But what about this part? And still not go forward. So even though you fulfilled your curiosity to find out more, you still didn't do the thing you needed to do, which is go forward. Okay. So number one, you are a luxury item. You are worthy of this decision. You are worthy of moving forward. The pause is only holding you back. It's holding you back. So if your cause for pause is a lack of information, that's number two now. Get the information you need, but put a time limit on your research. I previously recommended 2 days, 48 hours. There are some things that are a little more complex than that. So if you need a little bit more than 48, then do that. But put a time frame though. Assign a time frame that you will honor. Whether that's 48 hours, 72, whatever the case may be. Keep it short and honor it. Okay. Number three, if you're somebody who's more along the lines of a flight attendant, you're more all over the place and you're second guessing yourself because you have so much information in your mind. You have so many ideas. You're so inspired. There's so much stimuli. I recommend the exact same thing. Give yourself a time limit to make a decision. And I'm recommending 24 hours. If you're someone who's flight attendant, you're full of ideas, you're very inspired, you love being around people, you're electrified by external stimuli, you love people, you're a people person, you prioritize other people's priorities over your own, and that luxury item has been sitting there waiting for you to move forward, I recommend you give yourself 24 hours to make the decision on whatever that thing is that you're second guessing yourself on. And sort of the bonus thing, let me put this as like 0 before you even get to number 1. Get clear and confess to yourself what that thing is you're second guessing yourself about. Cause we'll be good for hiding what we don't want to deal with, right? Tell me you understand that feeling, you know what I'm talking about. We will put that so far on the back burner that we will forget it's on the stove. We will cover it up. And it's probably something clear, so we're not seeing the contents of what's cooking, and we'll forget about it. So let me bring this 0 up. Do this first. Get 100% clear and confess to yourself. Write it down. Say it out loud to yourself in front of a mirror. Confront yourself about what it is that you are second guessing yourself about, so that you can finally address it. Then go to number 1. And remind yourself that you are a luxury item and you can make the decision and that you're worthy of making the decision and go forward with it. Okay. But yeah, for number 3, if you're somebody that is all over the place and you've been second guessing yourself because of everything else that's been stimulating you, all of the other interesting and sexy things that you want to go pursue, bring yourself back to this thing that you're second guessing yourself on. Bring yourself back to what's going to move the needle forward on your luxury item. And give yourself 24 hours to make the decision. No more than that. Make the decision because you can. Okay? And again, if you're the flight attendant, you're all over the place, you have plenty of ideas and you're second guessing yourself because maybe you feel, going back to number 2, that you don't have enough information. Same rule applies. Look up the information, but for you, I'm giving you 24 hours because you'll be all over the place if I give you 48. 2 days might be too long for you. Okay. So 24 hours. I'm giving you 24. All right. And since you're a flight attendant, you can already leverage what I'm going to say next, which is number, I want to say 4 now. If maybe you've looked up the information and you're still second guessing yourself because you don't feel like you can do it, even with the information you have, then number 4 is getting your help. If you're a flight attendant, you can easily leverage that because you already know a lot of people. Or Getting to know someone that can help you won't be a struggle for you. You love talking to people. You love getting to know others and learning what their gifts are. And you'll very quickly learn how to leverage them. You'll very quickly see the match. But if you're any other behavior style, natural behavior style, well, if you're a pilot, that won't be a struggle for you either. You'll figure that out. You know exactly how to leverage that person or people that you meet. But for air traffic control and ground crew, we're more introverted. So we might be a little bit slower to get to know new people or reach out for help. We internalize a lot. Shout out to my ground crew air traffic control. I know y'all. I feel your pain. Sometimes it could be a stretch. And this is why that time frame is a great tool for you to use. 48 hours and you got to reach out. 48 hours. Reach out. If one of those or both of those are your top two behavior styles. If you're the flight attendant, that 24 hours still applies to you. If you're on number 4 and you're second guessing yourself because you have all the info, but you need to find a person, maybe you're not the person to do the thing, 24 hours. Find the person you need if you're a flight attendant. Okay? 24 hours. If you're a ground crew air traffic control, 48. But reach out to who you need to reach out to in your networks, on your LinkedIn, on your IG, wherever you have a group or a community that you're a part of. Reach out. 48 hours. Okay? All right. So 1, you're a luxury item. You're worthy of the decision. Go ahead and make it. Number 2, if you need more information, if you're anything other than a flight attendant, you have 48 hours to go find it. Number 3, if you are a flight attendant and you're all over the place, give yourself 24. Number 4, all those things are addressed, but maybe you need a person. Like, yeah, find your help. Find your help. Reach out to the people in your network. And if you're somebody that's been rocking with me for a while, a lot of this may start to sound reiterative, and it should. Repetition deepens the impression. And the thing is, you've likely heard before, success leaves clues. All of the successful people you've ever heard, studied, learned from, heard from, all of what I'm sharing with you, they've used in order to succeed. If you've ever followed E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher, one of the things he always reiterates is that if you want to make that money, if you want to get that bag, the behavior style you want to delve into is the pilot. Dig into all of the tendencies that a pilot has that would make them successful. They're aggressive or proactive, if you prefer that word. They're very precise with their time. They're very strict about it. And they're very good about leveraging the people that they know. They connect themselves to the resources they need to get things done. Okay? And then very mature pilots, the ones that are very great leaders, know how to replicate themselves in other people. So they develop other leaders. And that's a true sign of a great leader. Dr. John Maxwell teaches this. He has several books on it. But one of the key signs of a mature leader is replicating yourself, developing other leaders. Start with developing the leader within yourself and then develop the leader within others. But don't worry. This part about second guessing, the leadership thing is just bonus. Don't worry about that part. Don't take on that part. Just remember those 4 things that I've reiterated so far. I just wanted to share that pilot part as a bonus. Okay. Now, if the self-doubt, the second guessing is coming from perhaps what you've been taught, perhaps stuff that you've been told, reiterated, maybe you've been bashed on. Maybe this is stuff coming from childhood. Maybe this is stuff coming from your previous corporate experience or your previous experiences, period, regardless of context. Then this next step, number 5, is rebuild how you see yourself. Transform the way you see yourself. This ties back to number 1 about the fact that you are a luxury item. You are worthy of making the decision. So make it. But if you need something deeper than just that reminder, Number 5 is where we can get into the brass tacks of how to get to number 1. So transform the way you see yourself if you're second guessing yourself based on your self-image. If it's a self-image problem, let's get into it. So one great place to start, if you're someone like me, as you, this thing is all over my jacket. If you're someone who is a believer in Jesus, you have a Bible, and you're still second guessing yourself, start there. Start with the Word of God. Find what God says about you and choose to believe that. Choose to believe what God says about you. Okay? Like, I can rattle off a bunch of them if you're somebody that needs that. You know what I mean? You are the righteousness of God in Christ. He sent his son to die for you. There is no greater value you have than for somebody to lay down their life for you, especially someone who didn't have to. Okay? You are the likeness and image of God. You are the likeness and image of God. You are a light bearer. Therefore, you represent him. Therefore, you represent his value. And his value is limitless. Because his value is limitless, so are you. Your genius is limitless because his is limitless as well. We have neuroplasticity. We're capable of learning and absorbing as much as we want to, as much as we believe we can. So this is just a starting point. If you need a place to begin in terms of transforming the way you see yourself. But even if you're someone who is not a follower of Jesus Christ, there is plenty of affirming material out there that you can use on the internet to start to empower yourself. We as human beings have inherent value. No matter what belief system you research, they all have that. They all share that. You have inherent value because you exist. And as I reiterated from ET a couple episodes ago, you are deep and dope. Okay? You are deep and dope. You are highly intelligent, and your Taylor experience, all the things that you've come up through and with, all the people you've been with, all the people you've learned from, you have a tailor-made experience with certain universal threads through those experiences because you are a human being, just as I'm a human being. Okay? So grab those affirmations, those principles. If you're a follower of Jesus, grab them from the Bible. If you're Muslim, grab your Quran, start from there. Like, reiterate what your deity says about you. In my case, I'm a Christian, so I'm following what Jesus says about me. But start from there, and day and night, write those out, say them aloud. And the most powerful way to do it is in the mirror, where you're seeing yourself say the words. You're hearing yourself say the words. It sinks in more deeply because you are far more likely to believe what you say about yourself than what you hear others say. Don't get me wrong, if you're in a situation right now where number 5 applies to you and your self-image has been poor up to this point, this reprogramming is going to be powerful because it's now you seeing and hearing what you're saying about yourself. That's going to far outweigh everything everyone else has ever said about you. Okay? So that's number 5. Transform, rebuild your self-image. And that will build your confidence to make the decision to go forward. I can do this. I can make this decision. And if I make this decision and there's a mistake, I can learn from the mistake and make another decision. All of the most successful people in the world, they make a lot of decisions and they make them very quickly and they don't change their minds. There's a difference between choosing and making a decision. Making a decision means to cut off all other options. To change your mind about something means you chose something, which means you left the other options open. The most successful people in the world, the people that get things done, the people that get things completed, are the ones who make decisions. They cut off all other options. They do that often, and they don't change their minds. They flex that decision muscle heavily. They diesel with that. So let that be your goal. Become a diesel decision maker. All right. Hashtag diesel decision maker. All right. Let that be your goal. So if you need to transform, rebuild your self image, by all means, carve out the time in the mornings and in the evenings to do that. And the reason why I'm saying in the morning and in the evening is that there's science behind it. This is not just biblical principle, even though it is in the Bible, but there is literal science to back this up. Within the first 30 minutes when you wake up and the last 30 minutes before you go to bed, your brain is its most porous. It is its most sensitive to receiving and processing information. Your mind is its most malleable within the first 30 minutes after waking up and 30 minutes before you go to sleep. This is why those are the ideal times to reprogram your brain with the truth of your capabilities, how amazing and powerful you are, and how intelligent and adaptive you can be. Adaptable. You are adaptable. You are capable of neuroplasticity. You can learn anything you want to. You can learn as much as you want and as much as you believe you can. So I'm instilling in you a new belief. You can learn and absorb as much as you want. I'm challenging you to choose to believe that. Okay? So let me run this all the way back. So starting with 0, confront yourself about the thing that you're second guessing yourself on. That way you can address it. Write it down, say it out loud, say it in the mirror to yourself. So you're seeing and hearing yourself say it. Get clear on the thing that you're second guessing yourself about. Number 1, remember that you are a luxury item. You are worthy of this decision. You have the ability to make it. So make it. Don't wait anymore. You are perfectly capable of getting this done. You are correct right now. And if you make the decision and take the next step and find that you're not, it's fine. You have neuroplasticity. You can learn from that, make another decision, and keep going. As Josh Hatch would say, make a decision and make it right. That's what he means by that. Make a decision. And if for whatever reason you find out that, oh, whoops, I missed this, go ahead and make it right. Make that next decision to make it right. Learn the lesson and keep going. Okay? Number 2, give yourself a time frame if the reason you're second guessing yourself is a lack of information. And the time frame I recommend is 48 hours if you're someone who is a grounds crew, air traffic control, or pilot. The pilot is task-oriented, fast-moving, visionary, aggressive, proactive. No problem. You will take less than 48 to get the information you need. Grounds crew, you're someone who prioritizes other people's priorities over your own. You're a helper. You love to serve. Serving other people gives you life. I'm giving you 48 hours to focus on yourself. Get the information you need and stop second guessing so you can make the decision and move forward. Okay? If you're air traffic control, you may not necessarily prioritize other people's priorities over your own. Sometimes you do. But you're someone who loves to research. You love getting into the details. So in your mind, if I'm telling you 48 hours, you might be like, that's not enough time. That's exactly the point. 48 hours. Give yourself that limit so that you can move forward and make the decision and stop second guessing yourself. Okay? Number 3, if you're a flight attendant, this one was specifically for you. If you're all over the place, you prioritize other people's priorities over yourself, 24 hours if you need the information. 24. Okay? If you're someone who has a very short attention span, you're all over the place, you're easily stimulated, 24 hours. No more than that. Make the decision and keep it pressing. Number 4, if you need help, reach out and get your help. And I mean a person. If you need a who and not a how, or if you've done the research in number 2 and you found the how, but you're still not the who for it, reach out to your who. That's number 4. Get your help. Within 48 hours, if you're pilot, air traffic control, or ground crew, within 24, if you're the flight attendant. Okay? That's number 4. And then number 5, if you're second guessing yourself based on your own self-image, based on how you see yourself, based on what you've believed about yourself, based on all of your previous experiences, whether that's struggling with imposter syndrome, you have low self-esteem, you're dealing with trauma, whatever the case may be, number 5 is to transform and rebuild your self-image using spiritual texts or simply researching positive affirmations online, picking them out, and then first thing in the morning and right before bed, saying them out loud to yourself in the mirror so that you can see and hear yourself saying it. Because you're more likely to believe what you say about yourself than what you hear other people say about you. Okay? No more second guessing. I want you to believe that you are deep and dope. You are a light bearer because you're a human being. You are a luxury item. You're valuable because you exist. Whatever that luxury item is, whatever that assignment is, let's go. Let's get her done. If you're a pilot, this is stuff you don't necessarily need to hear. But let me know in the comments if any of 1 through 5 or 0 through 5 really apply to you. And let me know that I was able to help. For all the other behavior styles, take in all of this because all of this will help you. Okay? For that matter, put in the comments which of these steps resonated most with you and that you plan to implement immediately in your life. All right? In the meantime, though, if you have any questions, you can comment below if you're watching this on YouTube. Subscribe there, click the bell, and hit like on the video. You can find me there at Getting the Win. Follow me on Pinterest, Instagram, and Threads at Getting the Win Show. And if you have any questions for me and you want to DM me on IG, make sure you follow me first and then DM me. I'll be happy to answer your questions. But yeah, be sure to comment below, though, if you're watching this on YouTube. Let me know which of these apply most to you, resonates most with you, and you plan to implement immediately. In the meantime and between time, have a great and productive rest of your Wednesday and a great and productive rest of your week. Peace.